Okay, so the last video I was singing about how crazy it is to be in a relationship. Because most relationships are based off of ideals that are just not fucking true. And I think I need to put this on a poster. Just the word idealize. So idealize is spelled idea, I-D-E-A, L-I-Z-E, and I think it should be spelled idea, lies, L-I-E-S, because that's essentially what you're doing to yourself. You're not really doing it to that person, because that person is still that person. This is why I tell people to watch this channel. No, I'm not gonna be your girlfriend. Drop it. Okay, gotta treat them like dogs, because that's what they are, right? Oh, man. I'm kidding. Women are way worse. What's worse than a dog? Because that's what women are. A rabid dog. A pitbull. A pitbull that bites your dick off. You can only be so lucky for that. I mean, I think a lot of men would do far better for themselves if a pitbull bit their dicks off. Anyway. Yeah, when you have this idea of somebody, you lie to yourself about who they are. Because you're lying to yourself about who you are. You see yourself through that person. And if you fall in love with them, then you are essentially falling in love with this idea of yourself through an idea of this other person that's not even real. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that love is bad, by the way. A lot of people are gonna get that impression that I'm suggesting that people stop trying to be in a relationship, or that there's something wrong with that. No, there's not anything wrong with that. I think that it's totally normal and it's totally natural to want to have somebody. What's crazy is that people do this in spite of the fact that 9 times out of 10 shit doesn't work out, and that person is not what you think they are, not what you want them to be. And this is why I stress, work on yourself, and then you will attract something better. So if you have been in a series of failed relationships, instead of blaming those people for tricking you, maybe you wanted to be tricked. A lot of people want to be tricked. Well, the last relationship I was in, the last serious relationship I was in, I was actually crying about it last night. Because I don't know about y'all, but I still cry about things that happened a long ass time ago. Because I still feel them, like they just happened. This is called PTSD, okay? I think it's like a borderline personality thing, too. Pretty sure I have all the personality disorders combined. But it's a conglomeration personality disorder, so CPD. I'm also my own personal psychiatrist. Did you know that? psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, and drug dealer. But I already said psychiatrist. Never mind. Yeah, but I was thinking about that relationship and how I had told him that I was gonna hurt him and how it wasn't gonna work out because I was gonna push him away, and he didn't listen to me because he wanted to be with me, and he made me fall in love with him. So he even said, when we were in the process of breaking up, he said, yeah, you did tell me all this. You did say that this was going to happen. Now, I know that many people in the vortex will say, well, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, Amy. Like, you tell yourself something's going to happen, and then you do exactly what you say. Well, if I know that I'm a certain way, it's kind of like an allergy, okay? If I'm allergic to, say, peanuts, say my parents inject me with formaldehyde, and I get allergic to peanuts, it sounded like I said penis, which also makes sense, but say I get allergic to peanuts, I know I can't be around peanuts without reacting, so I'm going to act accordingly. I'm going to make sure that I don't go to a peanut factory, right? Some people, their allergy is really severe. Like, they'll literally die. Literally. They will literally fucking die if they eat a peanut. Or if something is contaminated with peanuts, like something peanut-esque touches another piece of food that they're consuming, or just being around it, just being in the presence of peanuts will like elicit a reaction. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, that's probably what happens with me. Maybe I should talk about that on stage. Yeah, I just start reacting to a person with a penis without them even having to whip it out. I just start freaking out and act like I just got invited to a penis factory, right? But yeah, sometimes I wish that I could just like change that if there's some pep talk I could give myself, or there's some book I could read that would help me get over whatever it is that is not allowing me to open myself up to new relationships. But I don't know, like when that happened with Joey, his name was Joey, that was like, 10 years ago? Holy shit, 10, 12 years ago, something like that? Yeah, when that happened, I told him, I was like, I will never love again, okay? It was like that scene in The Princess Bride when Buttercup realizes that Wesley is gone. I was so angry with myself. Even though it was actually his fault, because I told him the truth and he didn't listen to me. He wanted to think of me in a different way because he idealized me, you know? So if you're in the vortex and you're jerking off to me, please stop doing that, because you should save that for somebody that actually matters to you, not just some crazy bitch on the internet. But anyway, I think I'll talk more about that later in relation to idealizing people, places, and things. A lot of people have idealized this country. I can never figure out why. Maybe it's the freedom thing. The freedom thing that they don't really appreciate, since all they do is stare at a TV that is controlling them and listening to them and selling them shit. So their behavior is modified even more.